Yeah, what's your opinion on the whole thing? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave it in the comments below. I am curious how you view statics. Um, do you agree with this? Do you prefer Party Finder? Do you have certain expectations? Are your expectations low or high enough for some of the specific people you mentioned? Let me know. So let's see what Cutie thinks about statics and what's his issue.
This isn't a video talking about how bad statics are. This video
There
is
is no
purely...
sound streamer.
God damn it, don't interrupt the video.
I've only been playing this game for 2 years, so I've not got the most experience. But from the times that I've had statics, they've not been great. And with
statics tend to be as volatile as electricity, but I don't think that comes as a shock.
You... Shut the fuck up.
I'm becoming a lot more mainstream. I'm noticing a lot more I've had statics, they've not been great. And with PF on the horizon, I'm becoming a lot more mainstream. I'm noticing a lot more problems with statics. There's a few categories that I'm going to go over.
Consistency, Party Finder, social, timing, casual, midcore, hardcore, expectations, gearing. That is very specific, but I feel like that's not static exclusive, but let's hear them out, I guess.
Consistency, Party Finder, the social side, the times, casual, midcore, and hardcore categories, expectations, and gearing. And before I go into these, again, these are my own opinions.
Why does he sound like he's on the verge of tears? Like he's very emotional about having this conversation. He's like a bit out of breath, I guess. I don't know.
Things that I've learned in the past 2 years of playing this game and being in multiple statics that are casual, hardcore, or midcore. So please do not take these as you should not join a static because of this. Statics in this game can be very good, and I will go over why they can be very good. So to start with, consistency. Party Finder especially is a lot less consistent than a static. Now, in Party Finder, week 1 can be very good. I've had a lot of success in week 1 Party Finder, especially on light. I don't know how it is on other DCs. Maybe 8th is good as well. I'm not an NA raider. But in general, PF is a lot less consistent. You have a lot of players lying about their prog. You have players who are not very good at the game, I should say. Whereas
that is a very broad spectrum, like a very broad net he's throwing out right now. I'm not sure why he's starting with Party Finder specifically, but it's like it's also not necessarily that someone is just a bad player. It could also be that they just had less practice on certain fights than others, because like some people will make mistakes repeatedly because they're not used to certain mechanics. That's how rock parties happen. But it's like even if you've cleared, you might not do snakes too on PRS too well. So I'm not sure where he's going with this.
as a static, you have set times. You know who the players are in your static. You know how good they can perform. It can be a lot more consistent. You can talk to them. You can communicate any problems. You can help each other, leading to a more consistent environment. Now, along with this consistency, it also depends on the static that you have. So let's say a casual static. A casual static is going to raid a lot less than any other static. Usually they raid 2 to 3 days, I see, every week for a few hours or so. And these type of groups are more, to me, they are more social groups. You join this group, you go into a raid, you chat, you vibe, you have fun, etc. But you're also progging the fight at the same time. Now, as good as this can be, with a static such as casual or midcore, and with how the current tier is in Anabasios, 1 or 2 people can let a stag
Okay, he is in Dragon the Sun, isn't he?
down. And I found this out in Abyssos as well, which I'll get to in a sec. In Anabasios, there's a lot of 8-man checks. Almost every fight.
There you go.
So if 1 or 2 people cannot get a certain mechanic down, and yes, I know it's a casual group. It's not a hardcore group, so people are going to mess up, I know that. But you could be far along in prog, and these people will still mess up the easiest of mechanics, whether it be a spread, whether it be a stack, P10S, I'm looking at you. It can really hinder progress, and can hinder people's mental. Even though...
Not necessarily. Casual groups are usually not just about how much they raid, it's about their goals and just how they approach specifically raiding. Casual players will literally, for example, like my very first casual group, we started raiding when Ruby Weapon came out, and the next raid tier by that meeting as well. And we progged Ruby Weapon for 2 weeks. That was 3 times a week, so 6 raids, like proper 3 hours it took us to clear. That would have really, got mentally drained. So it's like, it's... the casual groups are specifically for people who don't want to put this much mental energy into raids. I wouldn't say it's just about, their consistency and their skill level, per se.
It's a stag just for fun, just for friends, etc. Now, this kind of veers up into a different topic that I will talk about later, and then it's like the expectations.
Okay.
When people, or 1 or 2 people, cost a lot of time with mechanics that you've already probed, it's not great. From my own experience, I'm pretty determined to clear fights and prog. And when I don't get that prog, it sucks. Now, I don't know if this is for everyone, but for me especially, that's the case. So once this starts happening, there's an idea in my mind to already start leaving.
So basically, there's just... It's like the whole conversation that he's dragging out here is just about the mentality of being in certain statics and the expectations of. Because right now, we're 4.5 minutes in. So far, he's just described Party Fighter, described casual statics, and now he's describing like how that he can get mentally drained if there's 1 or 2 people that are not picking up the mechanics as fast as other people. Which is normal. Like, prog is literally... Prog happens when the last idiot in the group figures out how to do the mechanic. That's what prog is. Unfortunately, it's like, if your expectation... Like keep in mind, it all comes down to expectations, because you might have half the group that aren't understanding the mechanic fast enough, or not getting, understanding or performing or executing the mechanic fast enough, or you might just have 2. It's a lot less stressful if it's 4, because that just feels
You're
like
the
prog.
idiot, ha.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I am. If for some reason it's a lot less stressful if it's just 4 people, because that just feels like general prog. But if it's just 2, you're just being impatient, and you're just like with 2 or 1 person, and you're just trying to get to the next mechanic faster. If we're specifically talking about like proper prog. If it's just a casual group, who the fuck cares? Those were the expectations of people just chilling and vibing, and not really expecting to get to every mechanic and clearing fights in 1 raid lockout. It depends on expectations here.
And in Abyssos, I had a stag that we cleared the whole of P8 within a week or so. And this was like week 6, week 7, so I wasn't expecting much. And then reclears came along, and then they couldn't clear the fight anymore. And a whole lockout, a whole 3 hours, we didn't reclear, which is just crazy to me. So I left immediately, because that's just...
What the fuck? Hold on.
Then we couldn't clear they couldn't clear...
Hold on, let me clear this out
the whole of
correctly.
P8 within a week or so.
Okay, so they cleared the entire tier in a week.
And this was like week 6, week 7, so...
Week 6 and week 7. So similar to me, actually, because our group fell apart, and then I just gathered a group that cleared the tier within a week and a half.
I wasn't expecting much. And then reclears came along, and then they couldn't clear the fight anymore.
Like, what does that mean, reclears came along? Like, the next week, or...?
And a whole lockout, a whole 3 hours, we didn't reclear, which is just crazy to me.
I mean, it's not that crazy, because, like... your mentality can kind of be like the raid adrenaline is gonna be like a driving force during like the initial prog, but once you clear it, people are gonna be a lot more lax. They're not gonna be as tense towards prog. So mistakes will happen. It always happens during raid clears, like the first like couple of raid clears. So it's not really that big of a deal if one raid session doesn't go well.
So I left immediately.
Immediately. You're wait, hold on. So, am I understanding correctly that Cutie cleared the tier, okay, and then they didn't reclear in the first 3 hours of reclears, and he left immediately? Wait, hold on. Am I understanding this correctly? Is Cutie that
And then
tense?
they couldn't clear the fight anymore. And a whole lockout, a whole 3 hours, we didn't reclear.
One lockout. 3 hours. Okay, we are talking about Savage here, so he means like a raiding session, not a lockout. So 3 hours of raids, and they didn't complete the reclears. That took him a week to clear initially, and in the first 3 hours he left? Am I bugging? Am I just not understanding this correctly?
Which is just crazy to me. So I left immediately, because
That's
that's unacceptable.
That's unacceptable? How high are your standards? What the fuck?
And this is why I have such an issue with mid-core stacks especially, which I'll again talk about later. Now, Party Finder, in my opinion, and from experience, is a lot easier progging. As someone who progged and killed every Savage in every Ultimate in PF, this is easily the best and easiest thing you can do. It doesn't really matter how good you are at the game.
Huh? Okay.
PF will always be a lot easier. You can prog whenever you want to. There is no time constraint. There is no pressure on being on a certain day with a stack. You don't miss days because of other people. You can just jump in PF and go. Now,
that's not necessarily true, because we're talking about the initial launch of a patch. Like right now, it's got like even today, my Party Finder group, just for reclearing P11S, timed out twice before I filled in a group. That's today, before stream. Even right now, I'm currently waiting for a Party Finder group to fill in. Hello, fellow masochists. So it's like, that's not necessarily true. It's like you got a flexible schedule, but only if you got hours to waste. It's like comparing like your high standards for a static and leaving after 3 hours of no reclears. Did you go into Party Finder to reclear after? Like, I want to know the story there. Like, how bad were the reclears that it made you leave after one raid session?
later on in the tier, this isn't great because people have cleared the tier.
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't know what week it is. It's like week 20, 25,
Okay, so he
30.
got to the point
cares?
that I was literally ranting about.
Because everyone's cleared. So doing this early is the best thing you could do. And especially week 1, I said at the start with consistency, week 1 PF can be really good. You can get to P12 phase 2 or, you know, the 4th floor, 2nd phase in PF. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. That's also where some strats came from in general. If you're really determined to get a clear early, or at least prog, PF can also do that. There's no need for a week 1 stack unless you are either racing or you don't want to deal with the gear problem, which I will.
As someone who's in the mid-core static, just because you actually clear once, it doesn't mean the clear is guaranteed. Half the time the clear is accidental. That's true. It is a lot of luck and like a lot of like mental adrenaline is gonna be pumping during like specifically prog week. Like let's say he did clear with his group in 1 week. He did say it. He cleared in 1 week. I'm just really confused by him saying that in one lockout of 3 hours, they didn't re-clear. I'm guessing either one fight or... I'm guessing one fight. I'm guessing the last turn, something like that. And he left immediately? Because that's unacceptable. Nah.
Again, talk about later.
Okay.
Now, alongside this, you can prog whenever you want in PF. You're not locked behind the time constraints of a static. You're not locked behind raiding 3 days a week for 3 hours.
I mean, you not necessarily are locked behind the schedule of a static. The static literally exists for the comfort and reliability of a schedule. It's not, you're not, like, I'm very confused. What's this point of view? Like, having static, it's not a constraint. It's not holding you in place to specifically raid on certain days. The point of a static is to make flexibility and organization and, like, efficiency, an efficient space created. Like, you are raiding during your comfortable hours because you found a static that suits you. But if you force yourself to join a specific static with specific hours, which are not suitable for you, that's a bit on you. That's a bit on you, and not just, you know, the static for having a schedule. Like, the schedule specifically exists for comfort, and, like, at certain hours you are guaranteed to have a full party and not having to wait in Party Finder for fucking 6 hours to fill up for your, you know, Heaven's Fall prog.
You can PF hop if one or two people are bad and they're hindering prog, they're not helping. You can't.
I mean, so can those people. It's like, are you about to advocate for blacklisting as well? Because that's not really, you know, a static conversation. Then
do this in a stack, because if someone is bad in a stack, it's not just leave and go next. You have to either kick the person or deal with it.
I mean, yeah. You can kick people out in the Party Finder as well, by the way. That is an option.
Now, I had this in top. When I was progging top, we had one person who just stuck out more than the rest and was just not the person you wanted in a hardcore stack. So we had to kick them. And ultimately wasted about 2 weeks. 2 extra weeks of prog time.
Like, okay, if there is one person who is a bit cringe, let's say, you need to have that conversation with them and start improving as soon as possible, especially if it's in an ultimate. Like, don't start giving people, like, multiple chances. But if you spend 2 weeks trying to convince this person to play better, that's a bit on the static and, like, whoever's in charge of organizing it. It's like, you should not be letting a person drag prog for 2 weeks. Like, that conversation should have popped up a lot sooner. You should, like, ultimately, you probably would have kicked him out, but it's on you not to solve this problem week 1. Either fix it, like, you either use it or lose it, right? So either this person is up to your group standard, but if he literally is the one that's sandbagging the group, you either help him get his shit together, you grab a second shovel and help him get the shit together, or you have the conversation, kick him out sooner. Because, like, right now, the point that you're making that he's griefing your group for 2 whole weeks, it's not on him. Like, they did not, you know, they committed to the static for 2 weeks, even if they're a bad player.
Because we had to find someone else at the same prog point. Week 2 of an ultimate release. So it wasn't great.
Week 2 of ultimate release. What the fuck? Wait, hold on. You kicked someone out on week 2 of ultimate release. You went into this on release.
But alongside this, again.
And you were hoping to find someone. Like, that is, like, very short term to find someone specifically on your prog point. Like,
there is an all-time high of people lying about where they are in the fight. Prog lying has become insanely mass spread recently, and I'm not sure why. But it's in almost every fight.
It's not necessarily prog lying either. Like, for example, when I was progging UCOB in Party Finder, we had people who both prog lied and people who did prog the mechanic, but they were specifically needing to get more practice on certain mechanics. Because, like, for example, we had one lucky pull. Like, we were on Heaven's Fall prog, but then we did Heaven's Fall correctly once, and because we had a competent, well, we had some helpers, we got through the ad phase with very few mistakes, but we got through it. We got to the last phase. We got to Golden Bahamut, and we wiped there. So technically, that group was, you know, Enrage prog, because we hit Enrage on Bahamut. But it's like, this was still, like, technically you got that experience, but it's like, if people are missing the practice on certain mechanics, it doesn't mean necessarily they're prog lying. But some people did prog lie, but for some reason, the people that prog lied they prog like really weird fucking stuff. Like they weren't confident with P2, but they prog like that they were on Heavenswell. I don't know. It was really weird.
I do a lot of Cliff ones, and the amount of people that I see are absolutely clueless, and you can really tell. Like if you think about proglying, you are easily the most spottable person in the raid.
Cutie, if you ever see this video, and I mean this in the nicest way. I mean this genuinely in the most nicest way. So far, I'm almost 10 minutes, like almost a third into your video. And so far, it just literally sounds like you are looking at, like, you are mainly looking down on people. That's mainly what it is. Like, your experience with your static and Abyssus, or experience with Party Finder, you either say it's like a really good place, but some people are just fucking beneath me. They're probably prog-like. It's like, it's not necessarily true, is it? It's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that that person prog-like because they're bad at a certain mechanic. Like, you are very set on some of these, like, specific topics.
If someone knows a fight, they're gonna spot you immediately and call you out.
That's true.
This happens almost every single party. It's a 1 in 2. You have a
See, the fact that you say that it happens almost every single party kind of also points at that. It's like, it doesn't happen every party. Like, statistically, people wouldn't be doing Party Finder if that was the case. If so many people were specifically prog-lying just to get into someone's party. At that point, there would be a lot more specifically statics and a lot less Party Finder groups. If specifically the trend of 1 out of 2 players being prog-liars, it's like, you are blowing this up quite a bit right at the moment.
50-50 chance if you're gonna clear or there's a prog layer and you're gonna get nowhere. Now, obviously, you can just kick them, which is fine.
Yeah, just kick him. That's it. Easy.
If you're not
Blacklist.
the party lead and the party lead is just clueless, or you know they don't.
Again, you are putting a lot of specific blame on other people. If the party leader is clueless, leave, make your own party. Easy.
Don't really care. It gets annoying, and yeah, you can just leave, go again, but again, you'll have to wait in PF.
I feel like a lot of this like conversation you're having right now, it's like, and I know this is a specifically rant and an opinion piece, but I feel like a lot of this is just like people not living up to your own standards at the moment. It's like, at least it sounds like that to me. It's like you have a specific standard in mind, and for some reason that standard was established as soon as you cleared the business with that group. Because like, a lot of what you're saying, it just seems like very set on specific like excuses for other people, and very set on a certain like mindset.
Wait for another party.
Because like at this point, there are prog liars. The raid leader doesn't care, or either stupid or doesn't care. I don't know. This is a bit all over the place now.
So you make no prog. I don't know why these are so popular at the moment. Maybe because there's nothing to do. Maybe because PF has become a lot more mainstream. You can PF ultimates now. You can PF everything.
I mean, he has to hide his play dead on the top left with his pound.
The fuck did you just say to me? Hold on. I mean, he has to hide his play dead on top left with his LB. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
What people are thinking, they're just really good at the game.
What?
And could just lie and speed prog, which is not true.
You also need to keep in mind that people don't necessarily prog lie. They're just trying to get practice in the fights they're progging specifically. They can't specifically, you know, avoid going into Party Finder for top if they're not a good player, but they are progging that fight. It's like, it's what is the, like, when are they supposed to be know that they're sure enough and good enough players to get into specific fights and prog specific mechanics? When are they sure that they're not progging that mechanic? It's like, this is very subjective so far. Because it's like, there's no specific threshold that the game will show you that you're a good enough player. Because like, even the most casual, well, not the most casual players, but fairly casual players will clear ultimates, even in Party Finder. So it's like, there's not really a decent way to tell this. But just pointing fingers and just saying these people are prog liars, or those people don't care, and it's very popular, and it's spreading across the Party Finder, it's mainstream. It's like, Like, I hope the tinfoil hat isn't like, you know, too heavy for you.
It's really, really difficult to one-shot a mechanic or a couple mechanics when you have no clue of the fight. You can read a toolbox, you can watch POVs or whatever. It's not the same as actually doing it. Obviously, some people can do this, and props to them, because it's very difficult. But prog lying is a huge issue right now. So that's probably the one really bad thing about PF, is the prog liars. So like I just said, with PF becoming more mainstream, you might have heard of LPDU.
Yeah, just to make sure I'm not trying to, like, you know, talk down on Cutie. Cutie is, like, known in the community. He's a lovely little fellow, but, like, at the moment, this opinion sounds very deaf to me. But I also understand that this is just a rant, and he's kind of... I'm guessing he's just had, like, a bad experience, maybe a bad couple of weeks in Party Finder, that he felt the need to, like, make this video. And he's just ranting, so it's like, I'm not gonna hold any of these opinions against him. Because for all I know, his opinion fucking changed a week later. This person just sounds really impatient. That's true. He does. His expectation seems to be a lot higher than what he is. It's hard to say what his specific issue here is. Because, like, the whole thing with the static, but he then prefers Party Finder, but Party Finder as a better solution is also crawling with a lot of issues. I'm very, like, confused. At the moment, specifically, the topic of this video is the problem with statics. We're 1/3 into the video, and so far, other than the static not reclearing in the first 3 hours, I have not heard other issues.
Or the people prog a lot on Aether, or clear a lot on Aether. Light Party Finder does Ultimate, if you don't know what LPDU is. It's the main DC and Discord for Ultimate ratings, average rating on Light.
Yeah.
These are really huge at the moment, and I think
LPDU is great.
7.0, Party Finder is going to be at an all-time high, thanks to these Discords. Now, holy shit, it's going to be toxic. But what
This is gonna be toxic? Excuse me?
community isn't toxic? But if you ever want a PF, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Even with all the bad things, it's still going to be better, in my opinion, than a static.
Not necessarily true.
Anyway,
Because, like, as he said, he has been rating so far for just 2 years. I've been making statics, and I've literally been recruiting people who I've messaged, like, 3 or 4 years ago at this point. So I'm just gonna assume he just had, like, a very bad batch of experiences specifically with statics. Because at most, he has experience at most 6 raid tiers and 3 ultimates. And some of the... well, I guess he might have done other ultimates in Party Finder. But it's like... It's hard to say what his expectations are. Because, like, I know these people who will be... Like, I know this one guy who's... Holy fuck, they're so cocky. But... they will constantly static hop. Like, they will immediately mid-prog decide that they don't like the static anymore. And, like, within 1 week, they will start looking for another static, and then they'll static hop immediately. Without like, the entirety of DSR, I basically just saw them. At first, I thought that they're just having trouble finding a static with their prog point, because they were, like, looking DSR P6 or P5 prog. And what turns out later on, when I talked to some other people, is just that he was just hopping between statics. So there's the static host, pretty much, yeah. Same here, you need to lower your standards. Sometimes it's like, you gotta be patient enough to get the race done. But if you're just gonna have expectations, and just because it's stuff, you have more hours on your hands and you can get it done in Party Finder. Because it's got to take a lot longer in Party Finder than it would in a static, technically. Well, I guess, depending on the season. Like, right now, it's going to be fucking difficult to find... Like, at the moment, it's very quiet. Party Finder is fairly fucking quiet and dead. A lot of new players in there right now. So prog is very questionable. But, I don't know. So far, Cutie just sounds very... I want to say frustrated and agitated. Party Finder. My Party Finder. 13 minutes remaining. Cool. Okay, we continue.
I've rambled about PF enough. The social side of statics. Now, I've had some pretty good luck with the social side of statics. Out of the 5 or 6 statics I've been in, most of them have been pretty good. I've made a lot of friends. The first static I was in, I'm still friends with a lot of them.
Hold on, what? How many did you say?
Then a static. Anyway, I've rambled about PF enough. The social side of statics. Now, I've had some pretty good luck with the social side of statics. Out of the 5 or 6 statics I've been in, most
5, 6 statics in 2 years. Holy shit. Okay.
of them have been pretty good. I've made a lot of friends. The first static I was in, I'm still friends with a lot of them.
That's good.
The second static I was in, I've also made a lot of friends with them. I've met some of them in real life. And this was, you know, years ago that I joined these statics.
Just to be fair, no hate on this person. Cutie's still a cutie.
But one thing I do encourage, now this might sound bad, and it really depends on you, is in my opinion, you should not raid with friends. Maximum raid with one friend, or make a static with one friend. I've seen very many statics blow up, break up, because there is 5 or 6 people that are all friends, close friends, hang about every day, and it falls apart.
Yeah, I can confirm that experience. Because like I twice I've tried to make a static with friends, but because of like expectations and experience difference, a lot of like unnecessary arguments happened. A lot of unnecessary argument. And it's like at the end of the day, it's just a lot of people trying to tell them that they're right and they're only trying to help, and the other person is it's like a whole spiral, and it just doesn't work out unless you have at least 1 or 2 friends that are specifically on your, at least close to your skill level, and at least like with a similar mindset as you towards like specifically rating. That it's like if you're, especially if your friendship like built on rating, then yeah, that friendship is gonna last a lot better during raids. But yeah, it also depends on experience and expectations.
Because either one, you don't make prog, because you just mess around.
Not necessarily, but okay.
Or people get salty for whatever reason,
Or what? Hold on. What?
and it falls apart. Because either one, you don't make prog, because you just mess around. Or people get salty for whatever reason.
It sounds like someone got salty at you for whatever reasons. That you're making it sound fucking really finger pointy.
And then friendships break up. Like, I don't know how it happens, but I've seen it happen, and I've had it happen in a group or 2 that I've seen. And
The fact that you're saying that you don't know how it happened, and the fact that it happened and you know how it happened, it's like it kind of a lot of fingers are being pointed at you at the moment. I feel like you know how it happened. You're just not gonna say that it's like it was somehow connected to you, and it's like that's fine because a similar thing happened to me. Like a lot of like experience difference will make a lot of arguments, and that will create a lot of like corrosive friction in your friendships, and shit happens. It's like I've lost friends. It's like I made a lot of friendships tense that way, but I also made a lot of friends that are on the same kind of I'd say a same wavelength as me through rating as well. So it's like that's not really, but it's like if you're saying you don't know why, then you're part of the problem.
helped it.
Am I your friend, Strummer?
Yes, you are. No, you are my friend. To be fair, people do get salty for no reason. That's true. But it's like it's like people will get salty. They will get tilted. That's fine. Proc happens. But if like if like most cases, and I promise you, in most cases, if someone's angry about something, and you see them angry, especially if it's just a group of 8 people and you're raiding and you're together for a set amount of hours, you probably know why the fuck that person is angry. You probably either have a theory or you're aware. It's like, or if they're angry with you and you don't understand why. It's like, you probably know. It's like for some people, it will seem that people are angry for no reason, and some people will think that the other people are stupid and not understanding for no reason. It's like, or like specifically non-caring or disconnected for no reason. It's like it's a whole back and forth. So it's like in a static, you always have to be ready to meet people halfway. It's always an effort, but it's like it's hard to find perfect people. But from his experience, I can tell it's good because I make enough groups to know at this point. He had 5-6 statics in 2 years, right? Way too fucking many. And it's like, once you make a fresh static, people are not as connected or invested into the group yet. Because they haven't made that, connection yet. He said he's made friends with, like, the first, second static. But what happened to, 3 through 6? So it's like... it's like, unless you have a firm connection, it's like... it's not gonna work. Everyone's gonna... people are, unless they're properly invested, they're not gonna feel like they're gonna have a mindset of what they gain or lose from the static. Similar to Cutie in this case. My theory was that they got bored because we weren't progging to their expectations and decided to implode the static. Yeah. It's always about expectations. It's always about expectations and lack of communication about those fucking expectations. Because, like, this shit always happens. It's, well, not always, but it's like during recruitment you will have this one fucking schmuck that will have one trial or just join the party, check everyone's logs, immediately type out like, I don't think the group is going anywhere. You guys are all lacking, and leave. Like, I've had these fucking schizos like who won't even trial or had one trial or like, oh Jesus Christ. There's this one person during the Abyssos. We trialed them for a healer position. When they joined, they literally claimed to be a cooldown Nazi, because they were a healer, and they like, I will expect people to do cooldowns. I will expect people to fucking be organized. I will fucking yell at you if you're not using your cooldowns. Immediately I thought like, fuck yeah, let's go. I need someone like this who will actually organize cooldowns and make sure that people is like, are enforced to use those cooldowns, right? I thought that was good. We trialed for 3 hours, right? Within those 3 hours, that person and her co-healer, who was also trialing, said less than 10 things in chat. Not even voice. Less than 10 things, and not even related to fucking cooldowns. And then, for 3 hours this has happened. Like, no communication, like, we tried to kind of hint at it, nudge to them for it. And then, when I messaged...
Am I also a friend, Strummer?
Shut the fuck up, Levy, I'm talking. You won't be my friend if you keep interrupting me. And then when I messaged them, hey, it's not gonna work out, we're probably gonna go for someone else. Immediately arrogant response to that, oh, I had the most horrible time with you guys anyway. Oh, it's like, what the fuck? You haven't said a single fucking thing despite your claims. Funniest thing is, the next healer that joined the group for trials immediately saw, like, after that person left, they joined, they saw that they messaged earlier in the general chat, and they're like, holy fuck, you trialed this bitch? So apparently people have already a reputation. But yeah. I had someone who left a party finder group because they saw some people were from Crystal. Jesus Christ. I leave parties when I see F _. What the fuck does that mean? I have no idea what that means. Friends?
And since then, I've told myself I'm not making or raiding with a static that has one or more, that has more than one of my friends in.
What if it's a really good static? Because, like, there are, like, specific players that I will fucking raid with in a heartbeat. Like, for example, I made a lot of friends specifically when I progged DSR. Like, not everyone's, like, close with me there, but it's like, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people in that group. If they made a static and they invited me in a heartbeat, I will throw everything under the bus and go join them. Because I know their skill level, I know how they work during raid, I know that they have a similar, like, mentality and wavelength as me. So it's like, yeah. It's like, I know our friendship is not gonna, crumble. Because we went through a lot worse during prog.
Now, this really depends on the person. For me, I just want to get a fight cleared and progged and done and out of the way.
That's just your expectation. That's just expectations then, my guy.
I'm not there to be your friend. I'm not there to joke around. Yes, it will happen, because that's just natural, right? But I'm not there to purposely do that. I'm there to prog, kill the fight, and hang out when I want to, when I need to, etc.
You're already kind of like not selling yourself too well. When you're ready to set yourself in a stance like, I'm not there to make friends. You mean nothing to me. I'm only using you for well, obviously you're not saying, obviously that's not what you're saying, but like the way you say it, it's like a lot people will be a lot less investing their time in you as well if that's your like connection. If you're there just to clear, get the loot, and get the fuck out, it's like, you're a risk factor is what you are. It's like that means you're a lot less invested in making the group work and pushing the group through the finish line than in other people in the group. Meaning people are less likely to take a chance with you. Because like, let's say I'll have little Timmy who's there and like, who is okay. So for example, I had a choice at a point where I would either pick up this very, not pointing fingers, but a very clumsy red mage who is clumsy, but they never tilt, and they will always get there in the end. Or this week 1 bozo, who is already very fucking strict, immediately telling me like, hey, I'm here to get this done. I'm just...
It's okay, you can say my name.
Shut the fuck up now, I'm talking. But yeah, it's like I had this choice, like either between casters or have these both as casters. But luckily I had someone else and I only had to fill one caster spot. And I picked now, because now it doesn't tilt. I know that now will stay with me until the end, until we get shit cleared, right? While if the person is only objectively like invested in the group just for, you know, personal goals to clear this, it's like going to Party Finder. I don't need you. I'm not gonna be taking my risk for someone who is like immediately putting his stance that the group means nothing to them. It's like if their investment in this is just them needing to get gear in the clear, then they are more likely to static hop and leave. Like you did after 3 hours of not getting every clear done. That's it's cringe. It is very cringe.
True. But the fight dying is like main priority. If I'm raiding with a friend, they are not my friend. They're simply someone I raid with at that time. Out of raid, that completely changes. Now again, this kind of is just like depends on the stack that you're in.
That is a very big mouse.
You can have more fun time progging because you like to be social, etc. But the one thing that always comes with a stack is the drama side. There's not...
I mean, not necessarily. Sometimes the static just fucking works. It doesn't all... Like, if it's a new static that people don't know, where people don't know each other enough, yeah, sure, drama will happen. But if it's like, if it's specifically friends you know already, it's like... Again, it's about expectations. But if your expectations is to literally, like, treat this as a fucking job, which it sounds like you do, because you're like, I'm there to get this stuff done. While we are here, we are not friends, we are co-workers. It's like, with that kind of like mindset, it's like, you're gonna get into a lot of drama. Well, and even if you didn't have that kind of mindset and you still got into drama, that drama would affect you way. I promise you that.
There's not been much drama recently. The only drama I know of this tier actually was between a group / 2 people that I knew that I raided with before in PF, which was like the most pettiest drama ever, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Okay.
But drama in stacks just seem to happen so much, or used to happen so much, it seems like. And obviously this is not gonna be like in every stack. Drama's very...
Again, Chad, I just want to underline, this is just a rant from him. I feel like he's just had to deal with some really weird shit recently, and that's why he's making this video. A lot of the points like he's making, they are obviously valid. All opinions are valid, but his experience is very, very limiting, very limited, even due to both his experience with statics, which is also kind of part of his like time within the raiding scene, and as well as his expectations. His expectations are much higher than like the experience with statics, I'd say. It's like obviously it's not to undermine his achievements. He's clear content. He's a good player, but like this mindset is very corrosive. It's gonna upset. Like in the long run, it's mainly gonna upset mostly you.
Easily avoidable, but it's also very easy to cause drama, especially with the egos some people have.
Cutie, don't start about ego. You left a group that couldn't clear something in 3 hours. You progged it for 1 week and then you fucking it's like let's not start an ego.
And the whole FF log.
Because like a lot of the opinion on ego usually comes from people not understanding that people are just very stubborn with their opinion. It doesn't mean they have specifically ego. It just means they believe they are right. It has very little to do with ego. Maybe partially, but it's like at the moment, with the opinions that you are sharing here, you are not one to talk about ego.
Schizo disease.
Okay, so one example for recently, I think I agree on schizo disease. Like some people do have a really weird ego. Like for example, I had someone apply to a static of mine, and they typed out, "Hey, I've been playing since A Realm Reborn. You know, I have high expectations of the group. Can you send me their logs?" Before I send him anything, I usually don't even send anyone's logs. It's like I asked him like, "Okay, but we have certain expectations, yada yada yada. Are you fine with these?" Instead of like sending me logs or anything, he just pointed out, "Hey, I said I've been raiding since A Realm Reborn. Do you know what that means?" Fucking no, because I checked his logs. He only started raiding in Shadowbringers. What the fuck does Realm Reborn have to do with anything? And he essentially was just like a white mage parser, damage parser. His healing logs, green and gray. So it's like that was definitely something to do with ego. But it's like people disagreeing with you or having different opinions. It's like a lot of people will just kind of apply ego to it. That people will disagree with you openly. That means they're schizo or ego, which is not true. But some people do have really
Stinky.
got it. Stinky ego, yeah.
So drama is unavoidable sometimes, and my own experience with this is a quick anecdote. Abyssos, I had 2 healers who were a couple.
Oh no, the worst.
Obviously, we were all in Discord. We were progging. It was all going well. And these 2 healers were in a separate call by themselves, while in this Discord call as well, muted.
Mid prog? Wait, hold on. How are you in 2 calls at the same time? How does that work? Are they just like have their desks next to each other, or like what do you mean? They were on phone. Well, what the okay. All right, let's hear them out.
Now, I don't know what kind of like
the fact if you have someone in prog, especially someone with a responsibility role like tanks or healers, muted during prog. Fuck them. Tell them either open their fucking mics and undeafen Discord, or tell them to get the fuck out. Like, what the fuck?
thought was put.
Because like if someone's treating your static as a party finder group, you don't need them. They can go into party finder and you can find same healers in party finder. You don't need these people. They're replaceable.
In their head, but like, why do you need to be in a separate call? Do you not already hanging out enough outside of raid that during raid you have to be in a call together as well? Like,
again, this is an expectation. What you need is action. You should have literally just told them like, hey, knock that shit out. Just for a few hours, focus on this fucking raid, please. You agreed to be here. If they still refuse to do that, tell them to fuck off. Easy.
that made no sense to me. So
It's like you genuinely don't have to have expectations to have this rant later. Like, I don't understand this. Why would you do this? Why would you? No, it doesn't matter what the fuck you need to understand about them. They need to understand that they joined a static with specific expectations. And, you know, a basic agreement of being present during specified hours of a static. If they're doing that, fuck them. Kick.
I quickly
Unless, you know, they compromise.
You left that stack as well.
Wait, hold on. What?
You have to be in a call together as well? Like, that made no sense to me. So, I quickly left that stack as well.
That is the reason you left that static? Are you static hopping? How high maintenance are you that these... Holy fuck, okay. I feel like you're just not used to certain environments at this point. It's not... It has nothing to do with skill level or like the people. It's like, you seem to be just not very approachable towards solutions. Find solutions, fix problems. The person that was griefing your proc for 2 weeks, you should have either helped him the week 1 or got rid of him way faster. This couple, you should have either told them to fucking be present during raid or get the fuck out. 3 clears. 3 hours versus the 1 week you spent to clearing the tier. Unreasonable. Fucking stay for another 3 hours until you clear. What the fuck? It's like, you need to find solutions. You need to actually act towards, like, you know, fixing some of the shit and not just expecting people to be up upon your standard. Like, this standard seems also very imaginary. I'm not even gonna put it down to ego. I just feel like this is just a very social inexperience, specifically for, you know, rating and statics. At least that kind of comes off to me. Like, you seem very... Like, you seem to be ready to spend more time looking for statics or waiting for a party finder group that is filled with prog liars and raid leaders that don't care, versus organized group that are specifically organized for sake of communication and enforcing solutions towards problems. I don't know.
But like social side of things, it's usually pretty good.
These two, they're not in the call with us. Fuck them, I'm leaving. But we hang out, we play Uno.
You just kind of have to get lucky. There's a lot of stacks out there. There's some luck to it. It's best if you know at least one person.
Why doesn't he just make his own static with his expectations and mindset? I'm not sure he's aware of his own expectations and mindset. I don't think he's gonna be able to find a group or even be able to kind of lead it. Not to say that he is like inept to leading. His inexperience is just gonna make him even more angry.
And like I said earlier, don't raid with friends. Or in my opinion, you shouldn't raid with friends. But having one there that you at least know, or having a person in a static that you can get buddy-buddy with is a good thing. It will stop you from going mentally insane. My second Abyssal static was 7 out of 8 Arabic. That was a wild ride.
Huh?
So I've kind of already gone over this already, but with the times and the waiting in PF and schedule, PF wait times it depends on the time. So I don't know if I said earlier, I can't remember. It's 10 a.m. I'm tired as fuck.
you do sound very delirious.
Later in the tier, it's gonna be up to hours before a party fills. Earlier in the tier, you're gonna fill pretty fast. Now static scheduling, I don't know why this is, but whether it be a casual, midcore, or hardcore stack listed, and now I'm gonna say the forbidden 3 letters of ERC. Looking at ERC, it doesn't matter if it's casual, midcore, or hardcore. They will always list, or most of the time, always list 3 hours, 3 days a week.
That's just like a very average thing, like, to manage. Specifically, especially if people work, or if people, you know, want to have the weekend off, for example. Like 3 raid days during the week, and having, you know, specifically if we're working off of resets, 3 days is just average. It's not necessarily, you know, specific statics. Some people will raid 4 days. Some people will raid 1 day. Some people will raid 2 days. Some people will raid every day. They're just that mental.
And the funny thing is that I see a lot is a hardcore mindset, and then have 3 days, 3 hours. I don't know how or what a hardcore mindset is, but it's a thing that people put in their stacks, which is basically them saying, we're trying to be hardcore, but we're not good enough.
Huh? Wait, hold on. What the fuck?
What a hardcore mindset is but it's a thing that people put in their stacks.
Okay, but it's like need to be more specific with these. Because like statics are like if someone's making a static that's always goal oriented, are they raiding right now and going hardcore for when content drops? Are they specifically only raiding 3 days and 3 hours? And in terms of hardcore is just their prep? Because for all you know, these people like these people will clear content. Like I know a friend of well, some people I used to raid with. Well, we procced some TU together, but we kind of had to split at a time due to the war. But then later on, they went in. They did Uwu, half Party Finder, half as a group of friends, and they raided like 34 hours, 34 days per week, and they cleared it within a week and a half. It's like it's not necessary that's like. Hardcore is like very subjective. It just depends what the fuck it applies to. It's like it doesn't apply specifically to the time frame.
Which is basically them saying,
It's not basically what I'm saying. It's basically how you understand it.
we're trying to be hardcore, but we're not good enough.
No.
But if you're a person who doesn't have a lot of time, sometimes some stacks can cater to that. So if you work 5 days a week, and you can only play 2 hours a day, Andy, then some stacks can be good for that. And like I said, with the 3 hours, 3 days, that could be very adjustable because it's only 3 days a week and it's only 3 hours, right? It can be very adjustable. It doesn't have to be.
To be fair, 3 days and 3 days and 3 hours per day. That's already longer than you lasted during reclears. Like, I'm not sure who are you to judge them at this point.
On 3 set days, you can schedule it a week in advance, etc., etc. So, if you don't have a lot of time, it can be pretty good. But then, if everyone did that in a stack, sometimes it could be a nightmare scheduling because, let's say 3 people have 3 different like schedules at work or whatever they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you add it all up, and it comes to 1 day a week. Now what?
What the fuck? Hold on. What is the? I'm very confused. What is this example he's bringing up?
It could be pretty good.
Okay.
But then, if everyone did that in a stack, sometimes it could be a nightmare scheduling because
Everyone did that in a static. Have a job and only have a few hours to raid.
let's say
Okay.
3 people have 3 different like schedules.
Then you fucking set up a schedule. Tell them you either fucking stay for the schedule or get the fuck out. What do you mean? You don't cater to the players. The players need to cater to the group created. They need to agree to the expectations of the goals set in front of them. What the fuck do you mean?
At work or whatever they need to do. And you add it all up, and it comes to 1 day a week.
That's just an organizational issue. It's not a people or raider issue. What the fuck?
Now what?
Now you kick out people. Like, you set a specific schedule and you remove the people who are not, you know, whose schedules don't align with that schedule. What do you mean now? What? Again, you need to look at solutions, not at problems. Cutie, I beg and plead at this point.
And I had this once. I was making a stack to help friends prog with tea, and I got
Okay.
8 people. And then I put everyone's availability in this giant spreadsheet. And it
See, that's the issue. You gather 8 people first, and then you set up the schedule.
was like,
Which is a mistake I also make, but I'm also not, you know, worried about the aftermath, because I know I will fucking kick people out and feel nothing about it if I have to set up a specific, you know, objective for the group.
1 to 2 days a week.
And the objective just does not align with other people's, you know, expectations.
Sometimes 0. Which is just, there's no point even rating at that point.
Yeah, the amount of days is 0. It's like, there's definitely no point to it. Again, that's an organizational, that's just logistical issue. It has very little to do with the people themselves.
So again, it's kind of hit or miss. If you don't have a lot of time, the best thing I think you can do is PF. And just try and get lucky. Or PF early enough to where you can actually fill parties. So the big topic of the casual statics, the mid-core
Wait, hold on. Now is the big topic. We're 20 minutes in.
statics and the hardcore statics. These are memes.
He needs to come closer to the mic. He was talking close to the mic, then he went far, and now the music is louder than him. He needs to audio balance this shit, or just, you know, make the music very low to begin with.
So casual statics
This man lost interest like 19 minutes ago. Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
are just
You can. I think I even heard him like specifically lean back on his chair at some point.
as it sounds, you know, casual, no expectations, meme, raid with friends, not really care about when you kill or how much you prog. These are good statics if you don't have any expectations. If you don't have those, and you just want to play, you want to press buttons, you want to meme, play with friends, whatever. These are really good statics. I'm in one right now, and
Chad, am I bugging? Or does he just doesn't make sense? He's every time he provides a problem for discussion. Again, I'm not holding this against Cutie, because this specifically is a rant, and this is essentially an opinion video. But it's like, am I bugging? Like, he presents a problem, and then he explains how he walked the opposite way of solving it. He has high expectations, people didn't re-clear in 3 hours, but he joined a casual static now. Huh?
it's pretty fun.
I'm glad you have fun, I guess.
Like I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore player.
Aye,
But I'd like to be one.
cool.
I play religiously every day. Mostly in PF. I've done the hardcore prog. And for some reason this static is like more fun than any other static that I've been in.
Because you lowered your fucking expectations. You disconnected from your own standards, and for once you just decided to play a fucking video game instead of treating it like a job. No fucking wonder you're having fun.
There's just something about not caring about when you clear. And just vibing.
Is this whole video just him ranting and just essentially declaring that he's a casual player now? Am I getting this right?
It just makes it a lot more fun, I guess. Now, I'm gonna skip midcore and go to hardcore real quick.
Wait, what? What?
Hardcore statics, I've only been in one or two. I was
Okay.
in a hardcore static for top. Now, this is the best static I've ever been in. Purely because of the fight that it was. I really enjoyed pop prog, going hardcore. Because everyone has the same expectation. It's an on-content ultimate fight. And it was good
I'm guessing this is the casual static in the footage, because he's playing a Dragoon, and I know he's a healer main.
fun with
But I guess playing a new job and not a job with 3 DPS buttons is also fun.
the right people, and being blind especially. Being blind is a big part of making a static fun.
Hmm?
Now, for hardcore, and I guess this counts towards midcore as well, good preparation and a good 1 or 2 stag leaders is very, very valuable in a stag. If you have one person who is assuming the role of stag leader and they don't do a good job, that can go downhill very fast.
And discover you can have fun in video games, I guess. Yeah, pretty much.
People will stop caring. There will be not much respect. Luckily, this isn't really an issue because there is a lot of people who can do that. And every stag that I've been in has been very good in terms of the people that stag lead. I've kind of stag led once during Abyssos. And if I'm honest, it's not the hardest thing to do.
My man doesn't have an idea, does he? He has no clue.
You just have to put some effort in. So, as long as you have a good 1 or 2 good people who can hold together the static, who can make resources, who can...
For someone who has been talking about walking away from statics due to either couples not being in the same call due to not declaring in 3 hours. I'm not sure he understands like the amount of effort it actually takes to hold the fucking static together.
You know, put
It's definitely more than just a bit of effort.
an hour or two outside of the static raid time. It's gonna go so much smoother. And I can guarantee you this, and this might just be for me, but static leading is actually kind of fun. And this might just be me because I like making strats. I like doing callouts because it helps me as well.
I feel like you just like to be, you know, going to the speed of your own drums. Because you have really weird high maintenance expectations, at least from what I've gathered. But it's like if you gather, and I'm not sure like what kind of statics you lead so far. But so far, the business statics, at least 2 of them that you mentioned, you walked away from. I'm guessing you're leading the casual static for your friends. I guess that is fun. But it's like, I don't think you understand what it actually takes to quickly hold the group together long enough.
But it can be pretty fun, static leading. But moving on to midcore. So
wait, what was his point about hardcore at this point? Wait, hold on. He talked about casual, then he said he's jumping to hardcore, and then he talked about casual statics more, and now he's hopping back to mid. God, am I bugging? I genuinely need someone to tell me. It's like, am I really weird, or I don't think he planned out this video.
midcore will take up 95%, 90 to 95% of LFGs. Now, I will never touch a midcore static again.
But you will play in a casual one. Because the casual one will always move on towards becoming a midcore static. Like, unless those people have jobs, kids, families, other responsibilities other than the game, like, some people will start tasting blood and wanting to move towards more serious midcore. They will go into Party Fighter. Like, this has happened before and will happen. And then those statics will have friction because some expectation will start differing. And you will need to either remake or move on towards midcore. So, you know.
There are such a wide range of people, expectations.
Because, like, you're currently putting yourself between, like
When I talk
I lost my fucking train of thought. What the fuck was what we were talking
about
about?
ELC earlier, midcore will take up 95%, 90 to 95%.
Okay, yeah. So you're essentially putting yourself, like, the casual community takes up like majority of community of 14 in general. The raiding casual community is a very tiny percentage, mind you. Very tiny. Not a lot of casual statics, believe me. The hardcore are like the top, let's say 5%. It also a very tiny percent. If you're not touching midcore, you're cutting yourself out from such a big part of the raiding community for no reason at this point.
Of LFGs. Now,
also, why is your arm under your monitor? Aren't your fingers like tapping like the bottom of your monitor? Now that I'm looking, like, oh well. Oh well.
I will never touch a midcore static again. There are such a wide range of people, expectations. A lot.
Yeah, so far, it just sounds like you have so many choices, but you're just not looking for the ones that suit your expectations. Like, if there was a place ever to find something that is either matching your expectations or at least a good direction towards them, it would be the midcore community at the moment. It's like, from the sound of specifically your issues.
A lot of things. These are the statics that are stuck at 3 hours, 3 days a week, like I said earlier.
Not necessarily, no. These are specific statics. And again, if there's so many of them, the scheduling will also be varied.
They will not go less, they will not go more.
Dude, go in the ERC. Okay, you know, fuck it. I'll go in ERC. Okay, let's start here. Oh, AQB is looking for static. That's a hardcore. Okay, midcore. What are they doing? Okay, 3 days. 2 days. 3 days. 3 days. 4 days already. Also midcore. What are we looking at here? The fucking 3 days, understandable. But I already found it 4 days. So like going back to that point. Hell, I made a midcore group that rates 4 days. 3 days a week, yeah. So again, this is just an average one. 4 hours each, 3 days, 4 days, there you go. Also midcore, 4 days. It's like, again, you just need to look around and actually scroll up and down and find your expectations, cutie. It's like, I don't understand what the, where is this coming from? Like 3 days, no more, no less. Like, they will definitely go less. Some people will literally raid 1 or 2 days, especially the casual ones. But it's like, you just need to look around. Midcore groups will go for 5 days sometimes. They will raid like 2 hours per evening, but they will go 5 days. There have been groups, you just need to look around, goddamn.
Maybe at a push, 4 hours a day. These stacks that I've been in, that have been quote-unquote midcore, have been hell.
I feel like you basing specifically your opinion on the statics you've been in. And you've been in way too many and not enough at the same time. Whatever.
I encourage people to not join these. It is probably much better to join a casual stack. You might even probably...
Jesus Christ, no, that's bad advice. Hold on, what?
But if you don't want that, and you don't want to join a midcore stack...
Midcore is like the best place to start. Like, to figure out if you want to go a bit more semi-hardcore or you want to go more casual. Like, midcore is the place to figure that out. That is the place to go. Don't tell people not to go there. What do you mean?
PF is your way to go.
Jesus Christ, hold on. So you either go casual, party finder, or hardcore. And you cut out, like, let's say it's not even like the majority. Let's say 60% of statics are midcore. Like, what? Cutie, who hurt you? Do you want to talk? My DMs are open if you ever just want to fucking call up and have a chat and just like watch a movie or something. Because like this is not healthy. This is not a very healthy mindset.
Midcores have just... They are so wide variety that people have different expectations. You
Exactly, so you have more choices.
have half the party, or more than half the stack, having an expectation to prog and kill the fight. And then you have like 1 or 2, maybe 3 people who are just there because it's new content, they want to press buttons, and they don't care. They don't care about when the fight gets killed, they don't care about how many days they raid, they don't care about how much they prog, they don't care about doing damage and killing the fight, they don't care about the other people in the stack.
That's... It... Like, hold on. What is the issue with these people?
And then you have like 1 or 2, maybe 3 people
Yeah.
who are just there because it's new content, they want to press buttons, and they don't care.
Isn't that literally what you fucking said at the start of this rant? Cutie, you literally said, I'm there not to be friends, I'm here to clear content and get gear. You literally said this. What do you mean? Why are you... What is your disposition with the people like yourself? What do you mean? God damn, Cutie. Cutie! Damn me. Fuck you, let's just have a chat. I feel like you just need friends. I'm not gonna raid with you, I promise, but if you're against it, it's like, but let's hang out. Let's play some fucking League or something. I don't know. Watch a movie together. God damn it, Cutie. Oh, right, fuck it. Let's finish this fucking video.
They don't care about when the fight gets killed, they don't care about how many days they raid, they don't care about how much they prog, they don't care about doing damage and killing the fight.
That is someone you shouldn't have fucking gotten in the first place. If someone is playing specifically just for no fucking reason, they're just there for the ride. It's like you either should have like replaced them during trials, or you should have just like looked elsewhere, or kicked them out after. It's like if there's like specifically people who are somehow causing trouble by being having I don't know how to describe it, having a nihilistic fucking presence, I guess.
They don't care about the other people in the stack. And this contrast is probably the reason why most midcore stacks blow up on a somewhat hard fight. I've heard stacks blow up on P3S, on P7S, P8S, P11S.
Okay.
I think P9S I've heard before.
He said penis.
And I can only imagine it's because it's a quote-unquote mid-core stank, having different expectations, and people getting angry at each other. One person quitting, two people quitting. They can't find more people, the static disbands, blah, blah, blah. So I encourage people to not join a mid-core static unless you know what you're getting yourself into. The best bet is just honestly joining PF.
Oh. No, because again, Party Finder also... Because, like your whole issue here, and I'd like to point out, your whole issue is the differentiation between casual, mid-core, and hardcore statics, and you know the expectations and the differences of expectations that come with them. Party Finder does not have those. It doesn't. It will be casual, it will be mid-core, and it will be hardcore at the same time, depending on the players that join. And because those expectations are going to be always unspoken, and the expectations are always going to be different, people are going to be on trial when they join, because you can't exactly tell, set like duty incomplete, but at least, phase 3 or some shit. It's like you're putting yourself in like the encouragement for Party Finder is like really weird, just because like the only plus side of Party Finder is that you have your own schedule, but that schedule can be vastly fucking affected by other people, like even more openly than a static. Static is at least like you know who the fuck you're dealing with in advance.
But yeah,
like statics it takes time. People, you get to know these people, you get to trial with these people, you know what the fuck you're getting yourself into. You don't just make a static and just go week 1. It's not a blind date like that.
different expectations is not good. I've had this, like I said earlier, with my Abyssal Stag, the 2 healers that didn't care. That's what makes the static explode, and that's the reason I left, and the reason that static never carried on. Now, I guess the last thing that I'm going to go over is the gearing situation. Now, this isn't just static / PF. Gearing in this game is an issue in itself, which I'm not going to get into much.
That is true. It is.
But gearing, in general, is awful. The book costs are way too high. The RNG between 8 players is way too high.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, just because I recently resubbed to World of Warcraft, it's like I thought of this issue way worse before I did a bit of raiding and Mythic Plus in World of Warcraft. And they have a lot more gear that you can get, a lot of more gear and options, etc. But you can also get fucking nothing. You will get no loot. It will always be a weekly fucking lockout unless you just farm fucking Mythic Plus out the ass. All like 40 minutes per dungeon, like 20 to 40 minutes per dungeon, and you still have to gather a party. It's like, and you gotta fucking find people of your level there too. You got a Raider IO as well. But it's like, the fact that the gear is so static and so fucking set in this game, and it is at least like to an extent guaranteed. You'll get, at least eventually you'll get enough book if you missed out on the loot for 8 weeks. In Legion, when I raided in World of Warcraft, my group recleared Mythic and Taurus for about, skipped like football season. We didn't raid like for 6 weeks then. But we re-cleared Mythic and Taurus for a good 3.5 months. The item that I needed dropped once. And I was like also not in the list of priority to get that item. Some people will benefit a lot more. But some items that I needed literally dropped once. And I got it like after specifically like 2 months. Like, so we had like 2 weeks left before the next patch at that point. For me to even use that item, either in Mythic Plus or raids. It's like, yeah. Like, obviously the gearing is an issue, but it's, after just revisiting World of Warcraft, I realized that it's not that bad in 14.
So,
but I
if you
digress.
are going to PF, and you plan to just PF the whole tier until BIS, be ready to wait between 8 and 20 weeks. Because either one, you just won't get a piece. Ever.
What does 20 weeks mean?
Or 2. you'll just have to farm books. I've been trying to get a healer chest piece from P11S for about 10 weeks now.
Where are you using your books then? Hold on.
11 weeks, maybe more. I still haven't got it. Because I've had to use the books from that for my actual main job. Which doesn't use the chest piece coffer.
So, did he use it on legs or?
So I've had to buy twines, etc. to bist the job that I play. But actually not getting the coffer is just...
So basically, so instead of getting the item that you wanted, you use the item specifically meant for you, for helping you get the items that you are not lucky enough to roll on other things for the job you actually have to mainly play on. Am I understanding this correctly? Is this what he's complaining? That the system is set in place for to guarantee him to get items that he wants is not good enough because he's using them on other items that he needs and wants. God, am I bugging? I think Cutie is just like he's just being delirious at this point. I think he's like just had a really bad week or something, and he just needs to like let out a lot of stuff off his chest. I genuinely do not believe he means a lot of the stuff he's saying.
Awful. But I won't get into the gearing and how bad it is in this game.
Okay, we'll just drop it there.
Gearing
That's
like
a
I
whole
said, it's
fucking
hit or miss,
conversation.
So you should know what you get yourself into, especially with the tone cap lamar. In a stag, this is a lot easier. This is a lot better. If you are in a hardcore stag, you can do splits. And if you don't know what splits are, it's basically having an ult for every character or every player, and basically doing the tier twice in 1 week, because half of you are ults, half of you are mains, and then you swap. This dramatically cuts down the time by half, so you could be best by week 4, week 5, depending on terms.
Yeah, but what the fuck do you need this for?
There's not much else to say really. I kind of just picked out some points of...
Wait, was that the entire point for gearing? Hold on, what?
why I think stags are not a good idea anymore.
Okay.
Especially with PF picking up recently. With the 7 to 8 months of downtime now until Dawn Trail, Party Finder is kind of your best friend, especially for Ultimate. But like, these, in my opinion, are the reasons why stacks are good and why stacks are bad. And in the end, I think stacks are only good and only worth if you are either racing or doing week 1 / hardcore ulti prog or whatever. Otherwise, I think it's so much easier to just PF. If you have the mentality to PF, you should do it. And I know a lot of people get anxiety from joining PFs. We've all had it before. I still get it from time to time. I barely join DSR because I'm scared I'm gonna fuck up, even though I've cleared it a bunch.
Huh?
So I can understand why people don't want to PF and think stacks are better, which is fine, because there's still a lot of good reasons why you should join a stack. But I think as we come closer to Dawn Trail, stacks are just gonna be
Is he still sped up? Because he's taking ages and at this point.
slowly withered out. And a lot of people are just gonna PF. Especially on light. I've seen the amount of PS on light is laughable compared to chaos. If you go to chaos, there'll be 5 to 10 high ends at peak. If you go to light, there's about 100 plus. So if you do wanna,
He comparing data center party funders now. He's a bit all over the road, isn't he? I'm very confused.
progging PF, and you're on EU, light is the way to go. You might already know. If you're on EU, you probably already know about light and LBDU, etc. Aether, well, NA, I know has Aether. I'm not sure about Primal. I don't know if they still raid. Crystal's dead, Lamau. Dynas doesn't even exist. I'm just ranting about PF now. But like, from now on, I don't think stacks are a good way to go unless you're racing or unless you're doing week 1 hardcore / hardcore ulti pro. It's just gonna be a waste of time. But like I said, it depends on your expectations. It depends on what you want to clear. It depends on when you want to clear. And it just depends on you, really. Like I said, this is not to say stacks are bad. Stacks are good. All the stacks I've been on pretty much have all been very good to me. But from what I've learned, I don't think I'll be joining stacks outside of hardcore prog anymore. Purely for some of the reasons that I've talked about. The main ones being consistency and expectations. They are like the big killers of stacks. That's my opinion on stacks during Endwalker, I guess, or the end of Endwalker. now that I've cleared everything, I think going into Dawn Trail, it's going to be either week 1 or week 20 because I couldn't care. Although an Ultimate will be releasing, so I kind of want to clear as fast as possible. But I don't know, maybe I'm not the best person to talk about this. But
35. Keep in mind, we had the video sped up too.
it depends on you, what your expectations are, when you want to clear, how you are mentally. In my opinion, PF is the best way to go, especially for Ultimates. The Ultimates have been out for 17 years. You're not going to find a hardcore stack or a stack that's going to prog within a week. Now, you can find them. I've heard people get those type of stacks. But if you want the fastest way to prog an Ultimate, it's just go to PF. Go to Light. Join LPDU. Go to Aether if you're on NA. I don't know if Prime will still raid in PF. If you're on JP or OC, unlucky.
What?
But Ultimates especially, you should Party Finder. It's easily the best way. But that's my take on stacks. I've got nothing else really to say. I've gone through all my bullet points.
Why does he sound normal at 1.5 speed?
I guess there's not much else to say. Let me know if you disagree, agree, whatever. But I don't know. I don't think stacks are good anymore.
I feel like this Cuty's just been like hurt by statics. So that's why he's like kind of like, he does have some points, but a lot of them are just like going off the rails really quickly. He cleared in Abysses week 1, so he leaves them because they didn't reclear in 3 hours. I don't know. He's not selling this on me for some reason. Yeah, I feel like this is like just a very big like topic of preference in this situation, because like a lot of like, he keeps pointing out people that he is not content with to have in his grooves, but at the same time he's also making himself out to be one of those people. He presents problems that could have been very easily solved. It just seems like he a lot of like his groups had a lot of elephants in the room and no one addressed the fucking elephant. A lot of these statics could have been like, a lot of these issues he had could have been solved like weeks earlier before they became a pain. But the fact that he approached the issues with, nah, fuck it, I'll just leave instead. it's like, I don't know. Like, I understand some of the frustration he has. I definitely understand some of the frustration he's having with the... Because I definitely went through very similar cycles with a lot of like statics I made or I joined. But like at the end of the day, I realize it's like a lot of these problems can be solved a lot sooner and a lot easier than you think. And they're gonna like make you angry way less than you think. Like some of these problems should make you upset way less than you are getting. I don't know, but obviously I understand that this is just a rant and just an opinion piece. It was dragging on for very long and all over the road. I feel like Cutie was just like got upset about something or just had some bad experience, and not enough experience with specifically problem resolution. But it is what it is. Cutie's still a cool person. He still hangs out in LPD. He's a good helper. He's lovely, and a lot of people I rated with did say Cutie's. But yeah, that was a video. God, what's your opinion on the whole thing? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave it in the comments below. I am curious how you view statics. Do you agree with this? Do you prefer Party Finder? Do you have certain expectations? Are your expectations low or high enough for some of the specific people you mentioned? Let me know. I feel like a lot of issues he brought up in both Party Finder and statics, it's like they can either be solved by being in the static, or they can be solved by specifically just taking actions a bit earlier. And other than just having to risk going into Party Finder, and he, ranted about prog liars for 5 minutes before getting to the conversation. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, like, what was the point of the entire rant. I see his points. I definitely do. But, like, a lot of these points are, like, could have giving him way less heartache. But by just much much healthier resolutions, I guess. It's just not a very healthy mindset.
I mean, both have their pros and cons. Like, I think static is a pro in terms of like being able to raid a specific time. Like, it's you know when you can raid, you know what's gonna happen. Like, you don't have to wait for 3 hours for your PF to fill.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the same time, if you like don't like the people you are raiding with, you kind of losing your time. But in PF, it's the same thing. Like, if
Yeah, but
you wait for hours for a PF to fill, and sometimes we just disband first pool because it's just
exactly, yeah.
went wrong.
It's like
It's like both
even
are good, both are bad.
yeah, like even when I cleared UCOP in Party Finder, on one side I cleared UCOP in 6 days. On the other side, I sometimes had to fill up a party within 4 hours. That is not a joke, by the way. I checked like footage and VODs. You can even confirm it with Pato. Like, we would be just in Party Finder playing fucking Vampire Survivors or Hollow Cure for 4 hours until the fucking party filled. I would play Devil May Cry 5, I would play Final Fantasy 7 during that time. It's like not the best solution you'd think it is.